The aroma of freshly baked bread and sizzling bacon filled the small diner, but David couldn't taste a single bite. He stirred his coffee absent-mindedly, staring out the window at the gray drizzle that painted the city in muted tones. Since losing his wife 3 years ago, quiet mornings had become a bitter reminder of the emptiness that now accompanied him. Raising his son alone was a challenge, but he had managed until today. Today, his exhaustion felt heavier, a weight pressing on his chest as if life itself had decided he needed a reminder of what he had lost. Then came the sound of small, hesitant footsteps. David looked up, and there they were, 2 little girls, barely 7, with wide, hopeful eyes that seemed far too old for their tiny faces. Their clothes were a patchwork of bright colors, mismatched socks, and tiny hands clutching each other tightly. Can we eat with you?" one of them asked, her voice barely above a whisper. David froze. He had never felt his heart break in a single moment before, but hearing those words, feeling the raw vulnerability and hope in their eyes, was almost unbearable. He looked around the diner, hoping someone would notice them, but it was just him and these 2 fragile little girls. Without thinking, he gestured to the empty seats across from him. "Of course. Come sit," he said, his voice catching. They scrambled into the booth, their eyes darting around nervously, and he noticed the faint bruises on one girl's arm. The thought that they might be alone, hungry, or worse, lost and scared, tightened a knot in his chest. As they talked in quiet, stuttering bursts about school, their favorite cartoons, and a little dog they missed, David felt something awaken inside him, a protective instinct, a longing to help, to care, to make sure these little souls were safe. He ordered pancakes, eggs, and bacon, and as the girls dug in, their laughter filling the air like music he had almost forgotten existed, he realized that sometimes, life throws unexpected miracles into your lap when you least expect them. Over the next few weeks, David learned their story. Their mother had passed away suddenly, and their father had disappeared, leaving them with no one. Social services had placed them temporarily with relatives who lived far away, but the girls had slipped away that day, wanting something familiar, a sense of warmth and normalcy. David couldn't stop thinking about them, and they couldn't stop thinking about him. He knew he had to help them. It wasn't just about feeding them or giving them shelter, it was about being the family they deserved, the stability they craved. And in that, he realized that helping them might also heal his own broken heart, but challenges came quickly. Balancing his own son, who was adjusting to life with 2 unexpected siblings, work, and the legal hurdles to become their guardian was overwhelming. There were moments when he felt completely lost, nights when the girls cried quietly in their sleep and he didn't know if he was doing enough. Yet, in those moments, he found strength in their tiny hands clutching his, their whispered thank you, and the way their laughter slowly filled the house he thought would always feel empty. One rainy evening, as he tucked them into bed, the girls pressed their faces against his chest. "We don't want to be alone," they whispered. And in that moment, David made a promise, not just to them, but to himself, that he would never let them feel alone again. The fight wasn't easy, and every victory felt fragile, but step by step, they began to build a life together, a family formed not by chance, but by love and resilience. By the time the court granted him guardianship, David realized something profound: love doesn't always follow the path you expect. Sometimes it arrives on little feet, with hopeful eyes and tiny hands reaching out, asking for a place at your table. And when you say yes, it doesn't just change their life, it changes yours. 2 of the girls blossomed under his care, their laughter and joy filling the rooms of a house that once felt too quiet. David's son learned the meaning of compassion, the girls learned the meaning of family, and together, they created a bond that no tragedy could break. Years later, sitting at the same diner where it all began, David watched his son and the twins play with pancakes, syrup dripping from tiny fingers, and realized that sometimes, the universe gives you exactly what you need in the most unexpected way. And sometimes, the most fragile voices carry the power to heal the most broken hearts. It wasn't just about feeding them that day, it was about letting love in when life had felt impossible. And as David looked at their smiling faces, he knew that in saying yes to 2 little strangers, he had found the missing pieces of his own heart.